Right, are we in the morning or are we still in the afternoon? So good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
We can do better than that. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I just want to welcome you here to our wonderful city, the Rock Retreat. I'm Councilman Ron Rice here from the city of Newark, New Jersey. Clap it up for the Brick City. So let me just, on behalf of our city, on behalf of our mayor, Corey Booker, on behalf of the Newark Municipal Council, I want to welcome Hot 97 and a number of the other partners there, Lincoln Technical Institute, and obviously the Hot 97 street soldiers for coming and picking our city to have this very necessary discussion and opportunity that provides for our young people. Lisa Evans, thank you so much for being here in our city. Can we give her a round of applause? Thinking about a robbery on Saturday to talk about young people about employment opportunities and educational issues. And so let me just say that it's an honor for me to be here. I'm glad you all are here as well. The Gus panel that we have that's here as well, please use them. Ask the questions you need to ask. And also get the direction you need to do to get in order to get to the next level. You know, we just dedicated an MLK monument down in Washington, D.C. Most people know about that. And a lot of times we dwell on what Dr. King said, the I Have a Dream speech, the 1963 speech, a very non-confrontational speech about just all of us coming together. But everyone knows that, and if you don't know, you should read about it. It's particularly Dr. King's book, Chaos or Community, where he talked about not just civil rights unity, and not just being anti-military, but he talked about an economic policy in our town, in our country. He talked about empowerment of economic independence and economic empowerment in our urban areas. And years after his death, it's still a promise that is unfulfilled in this town, and in this state, and in this nation. And so as we celebrate the lives of Dr. King and those civil rights leaders that came before us, we ought to remember that the United States of America still has not cashed its check in terms of providing economic independence and self-sufficiency in neighborhoods and cities like the city of Newark, New Jersey, and other places around this country. And we're going to hold them accountable. There's a titanic struggle in this nation about the vision of what this nation is going to look like. Whether it's going to be for corporations that keep sending jobs outside of our nation and keep getting tax breaks, or whether we're going to invest in cities and invest in young people and invest in education right here at home. And that's a struggle you got to be a part of. Beyond this panel discussion, beyond what we have in this here today at this location. And so without further ado, as education is our passport to the future, and we know we said something about that, we need to also embrace our educational issues. I want to bring to the stage somebody who's working on those issues for the state of New Jersey, as well as places like Newark, for the entire state. A good friend of mine, attorney brother of mine, counselor of the highest esteem, and director of educational affairs for the state of New Jersey, Brandon Rubber.
Thank you, Councilman, for those wonderful words. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That was weak. We need to be stronger than that. This is a very important issue. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, thank you. On behalf of Governor Chris Christie, my name is Brandon Rice. I serve as the Governor's Director of Education and African American Affairs. And it's important that when we talk about this discussion, this education discussion, it's about not only our children, it's about our nation's future. And so it's very important that you ask the important questions. You ask, what are the questions pertaining to school choice, education reform, parental reform, and parental involvement? These are the critical questions that will not only move cities around the country like Newark, and like Camden, and like Trenton, but all over the country. And so it's up to you to make a difference. You made the first step. That first step is coming to hear questions on education reform. Now the next step is acting on it. And so on behalf of the governor, we thank you for this invitation to come out and support Hot 97. And I would like to bring up a very good friend of mine, a personal friend, who's definitely in the struggle when it comes to social rights and education reform. Lisa Evans, Hot 97. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad that you are all with us here for this special episode of Street Soldiers. We are live on location in Newark, New Jersey. I'm Lisa Evans, your host for this Super Summit on Jobs and Education. And I can't think of a topic that's more critical to us right now in our lives, in the lives of our families, in the lives of our loved ones, and also in the lives of our youth. Every day it seems like we hear bad news about the economy, about job prospects, and especially if you happen to be between the ages of 17 and 27, it can be very confusing. Should you stay in school, but then you run up school loan debts when you come out? You might not have a job to pay for them. What kind of education? Is a technical career a better career for you? What about becoming an entrepreneur? Is that a better way? These are some of the issues that we're going to be discussing with our panel and getting into. It can get very confusing and very overwhelming. And if you're already out of school and you have family responsibilities and other commitments and you already have bills that you have to pay every month, the pressure is on. And you want to know how you can make changes, but a lot of times it doesn't seem like there's opportunities out there. Well, we're here today to discuss what opportunities do exist. And it's more than just a job, it's more than just a degree, it's more than just an education, it's all about the mindset. And when we were putting the panel together here today, my executive producer Tone Capone and I and my whole Street Soldiers team at Hot 97, we were thinking about people that exemplify the message that we stand for and that we're trying to get across, which is that anything is possible. If you put your mind to it, no matter what the obstacles are, you can overcome them. And that it's really about focusing on what is there and the door that's open, rather than just focusing on what's closed to us, what's closed off, and what may be denied to you because of where you're from, what your background is. We've seen so many success stories, and a lot of them are right here on our panel. I want to introduce them without any further ado. But I'm so glad to be back here in Newark. You showed us a lot of love and so check out this panel. Joining us is Ilyasa Shabazz. She is the president of Ilyasa Shabazz Enterprises. Her website, if you want to follow her more, is growingupx.com. She is the co-chair of the Malcolm X Foundation. She's a lecturer, and she is the daughter of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz. Ilyasa has dedicated her life to empowering people through education, culture, and history. Ilyasa, thank you so much for being with us. Also joining us is Londell McMillan. He is the co-owner and executive publisher of The Source magazine. He's one of the most influential entertainment attorneys in the country. Londell has represented the biggest names in entertainment of our time, including Michael Jackson, Usher, Prince, and many others. He grew up in the Tompkins houses in Bed-Stuy, graduated from Cornell University and New York University Law School. Londell, thank you for being with us. Also with us, you know, this is the lady I call when we have a political issue, we need it broken down so that we can all understand what it is in plain, everyday language. I'm talking about Tara Dowdell. She's the president and CEO of the Tara Dowdell Group, a communications and business development firm. You've seen her all over TV, including Fox, Channel 9. She's a graduate of the University of Virginia, and she's worked on a lot of different political campaigns and political experiences as well. Tara, thank you for being with us. Lincoln Tech Institute with us. We have Selena Katani. She's a registered nurse, and she teaches the licensed practical nursing program with Lincoln Tech. Selena, thank you for being with us. Also joining us is Steve Shipper. He's the IT instructor at Lincoln Tech. He's the guy that, you know, if you want, there's a lot of careers out there in technology. And what we've been finding, you know, with our show and the kind of emails that we're getting from our listeners and feedback is a lot of people think because they're good with their iPhone or their Droid or BlackBerry that they can just get a career in IT and go right there. But with a little bit of training, there's a lot of opportunities. Everything is digital, and technology is a huge field. So we're going to find out from him what there is out there for you, because that might be something to consider. Steve, so thank you for being with us. And the lady on the end, if you have any problems with your car, she's the one to call. Jennifer Torres is a Lincoln Tech student. She's in the automotive division. We're going to find out about that, why she made that choice. Jennifer, thank you for being with us. And I want to start off with Tara Dowdell. Tara, you know the political system, you know the business place, you know the marketplace. What is the job picture like for our inner city communities? Is it as bad as people think it is?
I'm going to be very, can everyone hear me?
I think so. Can everyone hear Tara? Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be very candid with you, and you'll see throughout whenever I talk, I'm very forthright and straightforward. So right now, the job situation in our urban centers is very bad, but it has historically been very bad. And now we're at a time where it's reaching crisis levels. Unemployment among African Americans is typically twice what unemployment is amongst white Americans. And at this point, given the nature of where we are in our economy, because the economy is so bad, it's at a worse point. But I want to tell you though, despite those numbers and despite the statistics, there is still opportunity. I believe that we are in what I call a hustler's economy. Those people who are willing to make their own opportunity will succeed in this economy. I own a small business, and I will tell you from personal experience that this year is one of my best years because I've identified where the opportunities are. So I'm going to just tell you very quickly, and we'll get into it further, what are some of the things that you can do as people who may be unemployed or who know people who are unemployed to access the opportunities that are out there. Number one, technology. While technology is the reason why, part of the reason why unemployment is so high, because technology has been able to replace people, at the same time, the companies that create that technology are hiring people. So that's where Lincoln Technical Institute comes in handy, because for you, if you can learn how to write code and do IT work, there will be opportunities for you, and that's why these training programs are important. Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Google, right now they are hiring people, paying hiring bonuses to get people to work for them because there's not enough people in that space to take those jobs. They're talking about bringing people from overseas. So if you can get the training and get yourself out in front of those people, there will be opportunity for you. Number two, small businesses. I am a small business owner. If half of our small business owners just hired one person, there would be zero unemployment in this country. Zero. So what that means for you is, if you are unemployed, don't just sit at home, don't just collect unemployment. Here's what you do. You contact a small business that you like and offer to work for them for free. If you work hard, you add value, you will be hired. Ask them if they can at least just cover your expenses. I did that. I worked for free for someone, and that's how I got my first job. And I outworked everybody in that office, and within 2 weeks I was hired. Find a small business that you're passionate about. Even if they don't hire you, you will meet people, you will learn a skill. When you send your resume out, you'll be able to show you were doing something. And the last thing is, work for yourself if you can. Work for yourself. Our communities did well in the 1920s. Urban centers were flourishing in the 1920s because we had entrepreneurs. We had people who own the stores, the shops. You need to be those people. And it is not as hard as you think it is. You have to work hard, but it's for you. And I'll get into that later as we talk. I'm going to let other people talk because, you know, I can talk a little bit much. So I'm going to let other folks jump in here. But that's my...
It's a talk show, so thank you very much for that. Londell McMillan, you grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, very tough projects for everybody that knows Tompkins houses in Bed-Stuy there. Now you're at the top of your game in terms of the legal field, entertainment, a lot of civil rights issues you've worked for, many things that people don't even know about, like protecting artist rights. What role did education play in your life?
First of all, thank you, Lisa, and thank Hot 97, and thank Tone and everyone else, thank the community, thank the people, and thank my panelists. Education is simply the number one tool. You know, think about life as needing a toolkit for success. And number one tool has to be education. And you know, I like to share personal stories just so young people can get it, and those who are a bit older, parents, you can connect a little bit better. You know, when we talk education, it's like this, education. It's this four-syllable word that everybody kind of knows and has heard, and sometimes when you say something so much, it loses its resonance. But it's a very powerful word, you know, because when you think about it, you think about so much, right? And your parents are always talking to you about education. And you think, well, why am I doing this when you're going to school? And why am I pursuing this, right? And so when I think back to education, I was like, well, why did I do this in the first place? Because I didn't know how powerful it would be now that I did when I was sitting there. So what was my motive, right? And I'm gonna talk to the young people. What is your motive? Obviously, if you're here, you're probably ahead of your friends who are not here, right? So, but what is the motive of your friends that are not here, and what can you do to talk to them about? Okay, most people love somebody, and they want to make sure that they don't hurt somebody, right? So for me, education was making sure that those who loved me weren't hurt by me not pursuing education. Okay, I didn't want to hurt my family. I didn't want to hurt my people by not pursuing education. Then two, education also became an issue of I wanted to be both not just street smart, I wanted to be book smart. I want always to have an extra something with me in my toolkit. So education became a way for me to survive and to be clever and to be not just street smart, but book smart. Not just book smart, but street smart. It was always something for me to always continue to evolve, so I had something that I could run with and not feel I was going to lose as I went along my way. The other thing for me with education, I always wanted to have a quality of life. I learned that word later, but I always wanted to get money. Okay, so I always wanted to be able to not just so that I can live and like flash and all of that. I wanted to be able to be free. Because they talked about freedom in the civil rights movement and the way of public accommodations and the way of being able to have free choices and not being subjected as someone less than because of race. But one of the things that I like to focus on that was touched on, but we have to execute on with our generation is freedom of choice that comes with resources. Resources for ourselves and resources for others. So being free was something that education meant very important to me, and I just knew that if I knew more, I could do more. You know what I mean? And so it was really plain and that simple. So for me, education was getting through, enjoying the process, but learning so that if you know more, you'll be able to do more.
All right, Lando, thank you very much for that. Shabazz, you have gone through a lot of experiences in your life that a lot of people can only even imagine. That not even how you could possibly survive, and not only survive, but thrive and be concerned enough to be wanting to give back to your community, wanting to give to people. You saw your father killed in front of your eyes as a child. Your mother then had to raise all 6 of you on her own. She went on to get her own education, her doctorate, and have a tremendous career as an educator herself. What has kept you going, and what did you learn from your family that has kept you going today?
Well, I found later in life, when I confronted many challenges, that I would get, there was a book about lynchings. You know, it was about what a lot of African Americans were going through during Jim Crow, during slavery. And what my mother often talked about, not living life as a victim, resonated. And, you know, I looked at my mother's life when I wrote my book, Growing Up As, and I saw that February 14th, our home was firebombed, so that meant that we were homeless, basically. That a week later, her husband was killed, so now she's a single parent with 4 babies, pregnant with twins. She's in her maybe 28, 30 years old. And I often ask myself, how was she able to overcome? When I go and lecture to young students, I usually ask them, how many of them have children? And 9 times out of 10, they don't have any. And so I look at my mother's life and see that if she was the wife of a man who challenged a government that was historically unjust, her home was firebombed, her husband was killed in front of her, she had all of these children to take care of by herself, how was she able to do it? And basically, never accepting no as an answer, I can't do it, not living life as a victim, having self-respect, self-esteem, and understanding history, because I think that that really feeds our core, that, you know, we could do anything. So I don't live my life as a victim. I want to be happy. I want to be productive. I am very clear on my history. I'm very clear that our ancestors weren't just descendants of slaves, but that they were African men, women, and children who left a viable culture and contributed so much. And so that really continues to empower and inspire me, and that is what drives my work.
And that's the message too, is don't be a victim, is that there's always,
Right.
you can do more.
Right.
You can do more, especially. Steve Shippard, I want to talk about the nitty-gritty. Tara Dowdell was mentioning these tech careers. What's going on with that? Are there really a lot of jobs out there, as she says?
Well, every business that you go into, every government office that you go into, you're going to find computers. And every office is going to have users that are not only using that computer, but they're going to be pulling out their Droids, they're going to be pulling out their iPhones, they're going to be pulling out their Blackberries. Because in a company, you need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to communicate reliably, and you need to be able to communicate securely. So if everyone's using it, and these are just devices, and these are just machines, well, they're going to break. They're going to stop working. How many of you have ever been pounding on your iPad because it's not doing what you want it to do? Or you've been slamming your mouse down because you can't get this open or your computer's not working properly. Well, we as users...
Run it over? Want to throw it under the tires of a bus?
Yeah, you'll keep Best Buy in business.
I do.
But there's no end to the technology. It's not going anywhere, but getting more complicated. And here's the dirty little secret. There's no magic to it. It's just a device. It's just like a car. It has an engine. There's a certain way that an engine works. Just because I don't know how it works doesn't mean that it's magic. And just because you don't understand how this computer actually ticks doesn't mean that it's magic. My job at Lincoln Tech is to remove the magic, to convince these students that I have, regardless of what color they are, what gender they are, where they come from, it doesn't matter. I didn't grow up poor in the projects, but I grew up poor in a farm in the Midwest, dirt poor. And it doesn't, what I learned in my lifetime is that it does not matter, because when we come onto this earth, it doesn't matter, because we can't choose the color of our skin, the color of our hair. If we could choose, I wouldn't be 5'0" with a 2-inch vertical leap, trust me. We are in charge of our own lives. We create our own destiny. And it doesn't matter. If someone else has an issue with the fact that my skin is white, or your skin isn't white, or your skin is black, or whatever it is, ain't nothing I can do about it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. We're in charge of ourselves. What I try to do is remove the magic of these PCs, of these computers, and teach the students from the ground up, here's how it works. Here's how the computer actually works. Now let's go build one. And then all networking is teaching students how these computers, now that we understand how they work, how do they speak to each other and how they communicate. The next step is, how do these devices communicate with the networks? There is no magic. There is a career, not a job. A job is work that needs to be done that anyone can do. A career is what you have in your head. A career is value that you bring to an organization, to a business, to a government office. When you bring value, you have a career. I have a career. I can do what I do, I tell my students, anywhere I want to. Whether I do it here in northern Jersey, whether I choose to go into New York City, whether I choose to go to East Jabib, Illinois, where I came from. It doesn't matter, because my value isn't here. When my students leave Lincoln Tech, they leave and their value isn't here and on the radio. I'm pointing to my skull.
And it's something nobody can take away from them.
Exactly. And you take that value and enter into a mutually beneficial business agreement with the company, where you bring value to the company and perform with the skill that you have learned. And you perform that, and you are compensated fairly for that. And once you begin to get more skills, your compensation goes up. Sometimes within the same company, sometimes you have to go somewhere else. But see, you are the one that is in charge. Never feel like you have to wait for some certain condition to happen. You run your own life. And when it comes to the IT field, Lincoln Tech is a launch pad. We teach you the basic skills of how to get started in this industry. There are so many different directions to go.
And I want to get into those, but I don't run the show. The clock runs the show. And I want to try and get Jennifer in here real quick. Jennifer, you are an automotive student, right?
Yeah.
Tell us and pull that mic up real close to you, please. Tell us what made you want to get involved in that?
I've always had like interest in cars.
trying to get your, is it the mic or what? All right, try it now, Jennifer. What made you want to get involved?
I've always liked cars. I had a passion for them, but I just didn't, had the knowledge for it. I always had an interest.
And that's it. How do you like it?
I love it. I really do.
And how much more do you have to do in terms of school before you can actually?
I finished school. The only thing is that I'm waiting on my license so then I can get a job. I had job offers like in Mercedes, Ford, Toyota, but I can't take it because that one thing, that license is very important,
So, but you get the license and then you're good. You're going to have a lot of different offers.
Yeah.
All right, well, we want to find out more about that in the second half of the show. I want to bring in real quick Selena Catani. She is a registered nurse. She teaches LPN. On previous shows, we've heard from experts in the job field. One of our recent shows we did this, said their healthcare careers is another area where there's a lot of growth and job opportunities for people from our communities. True or false?
Absolutely true. I just want to first share with you that nursing has been one of the best decisions of my life, truly, because there's so much opportunity, and the opportunity, as Lisa just addressed, is growing. The healthcare field is absolutely a wonderful place to be, especially in this economy. I love what I do. I have such a passion for it, and that's how you can be. You can go, as Steve had addressed as well, into nursing in Lincoln Tech, loving what you do as a career and not just a job. And you don't have to stay in one aspect of nursing. There's so many different avenues you can go to. It's growing because of the older ages that we're getting into, and there is a nursing shortage. So with that being said, you're gonna always have a job. You just have to look for it. The opportunities are there, and you might have to do the footwork. It might not be the perfect time for you. You might have to work the night shift, as I started out in, but you will always have a job. It's going to benefit your family, reap the rewards of you having a career. And it spreads and grows because nursing is a really heartfelt profession. Again, I love it so much, and I would hope that all of you would decide, or some of you, anyway, to decide to go into nursing. Lincoln Tech as a place to go to, the school itself, does treat you like a family. I wanted to get that in as well. We take care of you from the beginning to the end. So if you're thinking about money costs and loans, we help you with that. And as far as an instructor, I'm honored to teach you. And our teachers do have that family mindset as well. So every step of the way, we help you. And in the end, there's externships in so many of the programs. So we help you get a job as well.
All the way through.
Yes,
all right, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break. You're listening to Hot 97 Street Soldiers, our Super Summit on Jobs. That's awesome. For our Super Summit on Jobs and Education, brought to you by Lincoln Tech. And we are continuing our discussion about what it takes to be a success, regardless of what field you're in, regardless of what you decide to do, as long as you decide to do something. We got the people here that can help inspire us and guide us in the right direction. Our panelist, Ilyasa Shabazz. She's the president of Ilyasa Shabazz Enterprises. You can find out more about her by going to her website, growingupx.com. She's the co-chair of the Malcolm X Foundation. She's the daughter of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz, and dedicates her life to empowering people through education, culture, and history. Also with us, Londell McMillan. He's the co-owner and executive publisher of The Source magazine, one of the most influential entertainment attorneys in the country. He's represented, I think, just about every big name that's out there, including Michael Jackson, Usher, and Prince. He grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, in Bed-Stuy, graduated from Cornell University and New York University Law. Also with us is Tara Dowdell. She's the president and CEO of the Tara Dowdell Group, a communications and business development firm. You've heard her on Hot 97 Street Soldiers before, seen her on Fox News, other national television programs, and Channel 9. She's a graduate of the University of Virginia. Also joining us from Lincoln Tech is Elizabeth Suarez. She's a registered medical assistant. We're going to find out what that is. Steve Shipper, he is an IT instructor at Lincoln Tech, dealing with technology. And student Jennifer Torres, she's a Lincoln Tech student. And we have some questions and comments from the audience too. Let me go to the first question here. Want to say your first name?
My name is Delon.
All right, Delon, what's your question and comment for our audience?
My question is this: how come economics isn't taught in grammar school in the city?
All right, anybody want to take that? How come economics isn't taught in grammar school?
I think that's a...
All right, Lundell?
Most curriculums unfortunately go through various city and state approval processes, and there are various political and educational reasons why a curriculum is what it is, but I agree. I think your question is really singling out that it's not, and it should be, because it definitely should be, and I think young people are now more aware of where education connects to economics, and so we need to go there. But I think in the grammar school level, they're trying to get through the basics of writing, reading, math, and arithmetic, right? Which is a form of economics, but I guess they're trying to get the bases covered. So part of the educational school systems, they've got layered the way that they see fit, but it's really not working. So I think young people are able to grasp a lot more than they used to, and I think they need to start integrating business and economics at an early stage, and I agree with that.
Hi, my name is Katrina. I just have a question from my personal experience, and this is to anyone can answer it from me. Right now, I'm 25 years old, pretty not stable in where I'm staying, and I have 2 little children. I've finished high school. I've attended Gibbs College. I've also attended Drake Business College. Just hitting rock bottom. I'm not succeeding in anything. I tried. So I'm just wondering, like, where can I go from here? Like, what choices do I have? I'm a single mom also, and I'm just at this point where I don't know which way to go.
Well, let me ask you this just to get a little bit more specific, and I appreciate you asking this question because there's a lot of other people listening right now that are in the same situation. Were you just unable to find work in the fields that you were trained for, or what was what were some of the factors?
Okay, when I attended Gibbs College, because I have interest in the medical field and I also have interest in computers and technology. I tried the computer technology thing at Gibbs College. I couldn't get right with the whole structure of the whole program. So I left that, and I went to work. I was still young, so I just went for jobs.
So you need something that works so you can feed those babies.
Exactly. I went to Drake Business College, and I finished the whole program, and I'm getting nowhere.
All right. Well, let's see what we have here on the panel that can help you with that. Okay. And I appreciate you asking the question. All right, Elizabeth Suarez, you mentioned medical careers. You're a registered medical assistant.
Yes.
And you teach at Lincoln Tech.
Yes.
What can you tell her, not bad mouth in any other programs or schools that might have not been a good match for her at that particular time and with the economy? What could you offer this young lady?
Okay, first I would like to say I'm glad that you're still focused. You haven't been discouraged and that you're looking to the future. As a mom and you have children, I do deal with a lot of mothers, and they do have, they have children that they have responsibility to. We do offer medical assistant, medical office administrator, and we also offer IT and OPN. So my best suggestion for you is still keep yourself going to school. Education is always the power to your future. So I would suggest not to give up. The medical field is always an open door. It's all about you determining what your future is, and always determination.
Elizabeth, let me talk practical steps here, action steps that she could actually take. What are we looking at in terms of a timeline, realistically, that she could get trained and get working and start getting checks coming in?
Well, the perfect thing about this is medical assistant and medical office, it's a 9-month course. So you pick up the trade, and then by your 9th month, you go on externship, and you get hands-on experience. And sometimes, when you take that initiative, as the panel was saying earlier, when you take that initiative and you show that focus, it shows that you want this. And they even hire you on your externship. It's all about you. How bad do you want this? The opportunities are there for you.
All right, and we have also, too, after the show, the info fair is going to continue. A lot of these counselors will be available. The community groups, which I'm going to shout out at the end of the show, who came here. There's a lot of resources, too, so I hope you avail yourself of that. How does that sound?
It sounds great. I'm still kind of lost in with my situation as of now. With no right now, it's like I see a brick wall. You know, if I go this way, I'm still stuck with this one. You know, this one right here. You know, it's just like, I don't know which way.
Well, my best suggestion for you is this, is one of the good things about Lincoln Tech is that we offer day and evening classes. So if you would like to work during the day, you can come during the evening. And then there's also all types of financial aid, Pell Grants, that can help you.
I also have a more paid job yet from going to school at Drake Business College. Can I still attend school with this long active?
Well, the best thing I would tell you to do is come to Lincoln Tech, meet with a rep. They will gladly find a way to help you. There's always a source.
All right, so you can talk with them after the show and really get specifics, because it sounds like you got a lot of things that need to be worked out, but I think
Hold on,
Angela is saying it's getting worked out.
It's got two more questions, but one thing I want to say in 30 seconds or less, and this is what I do want to say to people who are really pursuing a career, and I say this in no disrespect because sometimes it's stigmatized when we talk about public assistance. Sometimes that's what that's for, to hold you over to get an assistance so that you can get on and get off. Public assistance and welfare is not intended to be a career, a long-term situation. But when you need a little pep, when you need a little economic pep to hold you over because you're doing the right thing, and you're going to school, and you're pursuing a dream, and you're pursuing a career, you go and you apply so that you can get taken care of a little bit, so your family can take care of a little bit, and then you go and you do what the sister said, and you still go to school, and you try to get your way, and then you get off.
Yes, that's exactly what I've done. Through the years of me, you know, having my first job, I had in 2006. This is when the reality kicked in.
Yes.
I went to school and I did this and I was on welfare. But in the time of, you know, they kept me for about 5 years and that's it. So basically last year they just told me that, you know, they couldn't help me anymore.
So we have people here though that can help you, I think, and that can help you, you know, help you come up with a personalized plan and give you some options. And just because things haven't worked in the past doesn't mean that they're not going to work in the future, okay?
Right. Don't give up.
You're hanging.
Don't give up. Keep it going. Keep going. Give her a hand.
Let's hear about the family, Eliasa. Do you want to say anything just in terms of the giving up? Because, you know, she's a single mom too, like your mom was.
Right, I talked to her after.
All right, she'll talk to you afterwards. All right, so see, you got people here that are going to help you, all right? Don't you leave. We're going to hunt you down. That's how we do street soldiers. All right, what's your first name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Janae. My question, I'm 19 years old. I'm a single parent. I'm in school at an institute in Jersey City, and I'm struggling with my child, and I can't find work nowhere.
Do you have a high school? Do you have a high school?
And I have a high school diploma.
All right, Steve, what do you want to take this? Any opportunities like with a high school diploma, career? Do you have any special interests?
Medical.
All right, medical. All right, maybe that's Elizabeth again.
Hi. Okay, first thing I would tell you is you would have to actually focus on really what would you like to do. You know, what is your true interest? You know, when you say medical, you have to sit down and say to yourself, okay, medical is an open where you could make a lot of turns. So you have to say to yourself, okay, where is your total interest and how much you want to put into it? What is your time schedule? As the first young lady, you know, she was looking at something, but she wasn't sure whether, you know, how to go about it and going into school in sense of time. A lot of my students that I deal with are single moms, as I was saying, and some of them come during the day and then they work at night. The best thing to do that I would tell you to do is really get into the field. Once you're in it and once they see that you're in it, you can start volunteering at doctor's office, okay? When you volunteer in the medical field, they look and they see how much you take initiative. When they see you taking initiative and you're focused, they're not going to let you go. They're going to first hire you because they already trained you before they hire anybody. But you got to get your foot in the door. But you have to show how bad do you want this, how bad do you want to be in the field.
I'm in the field, but I need something like right now.
Well, the best thing I would tell you to do is first thing is volunteer. Volunteer. Speak to your doctor.
Actually, I want to stop you right there, okay? I get the volunteer thing, and I understand how that works. But we're not talking about somebody that's at a private college that has spare time and has other people paying their bills. This is a single mom with a kid with no income. How would she volunteer and keep a roof over her head and take care of her baby? I'm just just asking.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you have to first get into a doctor's office. You know, a lot of these doctors want someone with experience. A lot of these are, now these doctors are also looking for someone who's certified. So that's where the education part comes in. But in the meantime, as long as you get yourself in the door and you get, you know, your information out there, you also can speak to your doctors, you know, your primary doctor, your physician, your pediatrician. They know people. That's how you start spreading your information out there that you're looking for a position.
And start networking with all the people that are here on the panel after the show, and also all the influencers that we have from all the organizations.
Lisa, can I jump in too? I want to offer some just real practical advice for people, because I bet some of the questions are probably similar. If you are looking for a job, there are some practical steps that you can take right now to put you above the competition. Because right now, there are a lot of people, as we know, all looking for jobs, all in the same area. So what can you do to make yourself stand out? And that's what I want to give you a couple of tips. First of all, instead of just sending your resume into the jobs@soandsocompany.com, call that company. Ask them the name of the person who is responsible for hiring. Ask them that name. Send your resume to that person, not to jobs@soandso.com, because then you will be in a pile with thousands of other people. Ask them for the name of their secretary. Call that secretary and be very nice to that secretary. Get some information. Ask them if you can send the resume to them and they can get it in front of their boss. If you get the interview, make sure you are there. And I know this goes without saying, just in case, this is for other people, not anybody in this room, but make sure you are on time, early. Be dressed as nicely as you can possibly be dressed. When they ask you at the end and they say, is there anything else you would like to add? Never ever say no. You add that you are willing to work hard, you're willing to hustle, and you just want a shot. And if they give you a shot, you'll learn what you don't know. You have to show passion. You have to show enthusiasm. And then, after that interview, you send a handwritten note to that person thanking them for giving you that interview. I guarantee you, 95% of people do not take all of these steps. And you also identify all those areas where you want to work, all the different areas. Don't send it out a mass thing. Focus on some areas where you think you can add value, and also learn everything there is to know about that company. When you walk into that door and you know that there's something, say they're launching some new initiative, say they're launching some new program, you want to say, I can help you with this issue. Because what companies look for is someone that can help them solve a problem. That is what they look for. So if you have done the research on that website, go to the library. If you don't have the internet, go into your library, put your name on the list. I've gone into the library to use the internet before during rough times. You go into that library, you put your name on the list, you get on the internet, and you find out what they're working on, what the big thing they're trying to move forward is at that company, and you go in and you talk about the fact that you can help them with that big thing. That will automatically put you above everybody else. So you have to compete. You have to outcompete, outwork other people. And also, if you're going to work for a small business and you're thinking about volunteering, say, look, I want to help you with your small business. I don't have any income coming in. Can you pay me a little something? And they will pay you a little something. Someone came to me and said the very thing to me. She said, look, I don't have a job. This is hard. I need some help. And she said, I need help now. I need you to hire me. I promise I'll do whatever you need. I said, okay. She said, can you just pay me something? So you know what? I just paid her something, and now she's a full-time employee. And I know that there's no easy way. You got to do the work. You got to take the steps. And I know it's hard. I work for myself. You know what I was told when I said I would start my own business? People said, you know what? If you start your own business, understand this. You eat what you kill. And I eat what I kill. And that's what you have to do. You have to go out there and you gotta get it. You have to go after it and you have to fight. All right? Do not give up.
There's always in terms of the attitude that people have to have and the mindset of never giving up. Can you just talk about that for a little bit for us?
Yeah, I just think that, you know, I think that we have to be more prepared and probably identify some people who are in similar situations, identify some role models. I think that we always need counselors, we always need advice. Like the sister said, you know, once you fill out how are you filling out your resume, number one? And then when you do, are you following up? Are you identifying people? You know, I mean, I think there's just so much more that we can do, especially in finding people who are also trying to do the same things that we're doing. I think a lot of times we need advice from elders.
And just focusing, and it really comes down to personal connections. And when people say, I don't have connections, well, you have to make connections, and it's making that impression.
Right, and being very determined.
Yeah, one of the things is just not feeling embarrassed to ask people for a job and ask your network and keep asking and staying tenacious and staying vibrant. I mean, I'm an employer. I'm a small business employer. Some of my interns are here who are volunteering. And I know for a fact, I've seen many people volunteer and intern, and I know some of them are going to fall off. And then the ones that don't, they're on the short list. They're the first ones that I look to, okay, to employ. But you gotta stay focused, not give up. It's not easy. You're not gonna find a quick answer here or when we go out there. That's not gonna exist, because if it did, everyone would have it. But you gotta dig deep down and go get information. You have to look at what your skill set really is too. You have to look at these different programs, these institutes. You have to really look at them as a way to get a skill. And then go out in the marketplace, match your skill, match your passion to what you want to do, take opportunities, ask people for jobs. You can't stop. You won't stop. The last thing I'm going to say, people look at this guy, P. Diddy, and they see him so super wealthy. That guy's work ethic is like insane. You have to have an insane work ethic. You can't just say, I want a job, I don't know what to do. So you got to keep going. Every time they say no, you have to look and say, you know what, I'm gonna find a yes. You have to be inspired. You have to read your history. You have to talk to people who are picking cotton. And you have to say, you know what, I'm not gonna stop, I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna get better, and every day you gotta play that with yourself. You can't lose your focus and your esteem. You gotta keep going, take opportunities that exist. It's not hard, it's not gonna be easy, but keep going, because so many are not. I don't care what color they are, so many are not. I don't care what race they are, what religion they are, so many are not. You gotta be the ones that will. And so part of it is skill set, but part of it is willpower, and part of it is education, because education and knowledge is power.
All right. Skills and I want to talk a little bit about some of these other job career opportunities here, because we've got all these great instructors. John Gary, you teach EST at Lincoln Tech?
Yes, I teach electronic systems technology. One thing that I noticed, basically the two sisters that came up and spoke, I'm from this neighborhood. I was born and raised in this area. And I come from, and I know what you're feeling because I felt it. I just went and talked to the sister right here. Her father changed my life when I read his book, okay? I was in the streets, I did what I did, what I did was I would not accept none. I would not take that this is what I wanted to do. I chose this career, this was my dream, and I worked at it. I joined the military, I did what I had to do. I learned the trade there. Not saying the military is for everybody, but you just have to have that mindset that I'm not going to cash in on my dreams. I'm going to make this happen for you. You got to make it a job to find a job. If you don't have a job, there's no reason for you to be in bed at 7:30 in the morning. You need to be up, out there, looking.
Real talk.
Everybody you see, everybody you shake their hand, whatever, you need to make it a point that, hey, I'm looking for a job. This is what I'm about. I'm a good person. And I'm going to be here 7:30 like I'm here today to get this job. I'm going to work till it ends. And that's just how you got to be. You got to be really aggressive out there. And you will make it. You got to believe it. You have to be.
That sounds pretty heavy duty.
I teach a lot of electronics for diesel trucks and the transportation industry.
And how many jobs are there? Are there a lot of jobs in that field?
Yes, there is. It's a heavy field, so a lot of people don't really want to get involved in it. When there was a little bit of the economy crash, it did hurt a little bit because of transportation issues. Transportation's on its way back. It's on a very big upswing. We're doing a lot of tractor trailer. We're transporting a lot of products across the country now. We're in tractor trailers instead of train cars. So there's a lot of industry-related heavy-duty equipment mechanics. So what I teach and what we teach at the campus I'm from in South Plainfield, once you leave, you'd be operating bulldozers, you'd be involved in anything in the diesel industry at that point. To help out with a couple of questions that was asked and some of the things that the panel has spoken about, one of the things that any young person or young adult or even an older adult, it's never too late to change your career. You just have to make sure the career you want is something that's going to make you happy. There's nothing worse than getting up in the morning and not liking where you're going. You want to enjoy where you're going. In the trade industry, other than like colleges, we weren't educated in a college to become an educator. We all worked in the industry. We enjoy what we do now as instructors, and we enjoyed it in the field. And now we're enjoying sharing all of our knowledge. In technical schools, we have career service people that do resume training and help with job placement. Instructors step forward and point students in the right direction on where they should be applying or where we feel they would be a better fit in a community or in the industry themselves, and they can succeed at that point.
All right, so a lot of good information there for both of you two, real quick.
Just one of the things I wanted to say, I just took an interview today, and I interviewed 15 people. So, you know, I'm out here looking for people too in my field. I'm an electronic technician. So there's jobs out there, like I said, if you put yourself into a trade, college isn't for everybody. But what you want to do, it might be something out there for you.
All right, thank you very much for that. Let's try to take one more quick question here from our audience. What's your first name?
Frederick.
All right, Frederick, what's your question or comment for our panel?
It's a question and a comment also. My thing is, a lot of people say about the job situation down here, but I live in Newark, and what people don't understand is if you're raised up in Newark and you don't finish school or whatever the case may be, you have kids, you put on child support, what opportunity, and you back and forth in the penal system, what opportunities do a person of that nature have? I'm a parent, I raised 10 kids, I have 3 of a single parent now that I'm raising in my household. What opportunity is there for a person who goes to a job or goes to a school and they ask, have you ever been convicted of a crime? And a lot of times you lie and say no, but as you sitting up there, they're interviewing you, they're on DLC.com, pulling up your whole rap sheet of whatever you have done in life, and whether you say no or yeah to whether you've been convicted of a crime, they already know your history. And they take that and use it against you, or you don't have a job. And what people don't understand is a lot of these young men that's raised up in Newark, that's coming up now, don't have an opportunity to get a job, that's forced to sell drugs in the street or not, because they don't have no person that say, well, here, you go to school for this, here's a job opportunity for this. So they gonna have to do whatever it takes to feed their kids, or you can't stay nowhere free, eat, live. So they do whatever they can to sell drugs and drugs. A lot of them get in trouble. That's why you hear so many shootings and killings and stuff. There's no opportunity. And like she said, you're gonna have to eat what you could. If it's a dollar. If I got 3 kids and there's no oodles or noodles in my house, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get 2 packs of noodles to feed them kids. And I just want to know what opportunities are there for the people that's in that situation.
All right, thank you very much, Frederick. Thank you for asking that question. Actually, we did our last Sweet Soldier show was on how to get a job and what to do if you do have a criminal record, what fields, what are some of the laws, because some of the laws are changing, like in New York City, for city jobs where they're not allowed to ask you on the first go-round of an interview if you've been convicted of a crime. So we did a whole show on that, and I would encourage you to log on to hot97.com. Download our podcast from last week's show, and you can get a lot of information on that. I don't know if technical careers, if you're allowed with it. John, you want to answer that for us? Can you get a job in these fields with a criminal record?
Yes, some fields you can. Of course, like everything isn't open to you. I said, but brother, let me tell you something. Go out there and create your own opportunity. There's things once you learn a trade that you can do. And sometimes, if you go one-on-one with someone, never lie. Never lie about your background. There's something you went through, and it's something that you learned from it. And let people know, hey, I did this, I learned from it. Now I'm ready to go on from there. Don't never lie about your background. And just do what you got to do, and make it happen.
All right, thank you very much. I want to thank all of our panelists for being with us for this special episode. fact that we're here with us. I want to thank our special invited guests, Ilyasa Shabazz, Londell McMillan, Tara Dowdell, everybody from Lincoln Tech, Steve Shippert, Selena Catani, Jennifer Torres, Elizabeth Suarez, Robert Mason, Anthony Allegro, John Gary, Lou Vendel, and I think I got everybody, Glenn McNamara, right? I got everybody here. And also, I want to thank all the community groups that came out to show support and love for us, that helped us with the info fair, because one of the things we started doing in Newark is we do the show, we have community groups come out before and afterwards to give resources to the people that turn out for us. I want to give a shout out to Brand Marketing, Fitness Fast Team, We Care Partners Inc., Track Officials, Flag World, Samuel Whitfield Simmons Organization, Billy's Handcrafted, People's Organization for Progress, New Jersey Youth Corps, Buddha the Future, and Graham's Music for showing us about DJing. And I want to thank you guys, everybody, for being here and giving your time on a Saturday. And I want to thank my whole crew here at Hot 97. Our programming, Vice President for Programming, Ebro, our Assistant Program Director, Carly Hustle, my Executive Producer, Tone Capone, our Production Supervisor, Andrew Veras, my Production Assistant, Crystal Brockington, Joe Connor, our engineers, Steve Pepe and Bertie, who's here on site with us, and also the whole great team at Hot 97, Steve DeLucent, Reggie Nance, Natalia Gutierrez, everybody from digital and promotions that came out, our DJ Voila! New Jersey's own was out here giving us the music, so we appreciate that. And also special support that we got here from Amber Ravenel, and also the Street Doctor. If you're from Newark and you don't know the Street Doctor, I don't believe you're from Newark. This special episode of Street Soldiers was brought to you by Lincoln Tech. Get educated, get trained, and get a future. That's their slogan. Remember, check me out on Fox 5 News at 5 and 6. Follow me on Twitter at Lisa Evers. You can get a copy of this show in case you're just tuning in. Hot97.com. Download a free podcast. Remember, use your mind as your best weapon. I hope it's your only weapon. Have a great week, everybody. I'm Lisa Evers.